think you'll see what you want.
There are many aspects that make Homer one of the worst husbands ever. He likes to drink a little bit too much, he's lazy, and the worst is the worrying number of times where he has cheated on Marge with different women, and let me tell you, that's more than just kissing them. Have you heard the saying that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? Well, Homer applied this on this occasion, where with Ned, both of them had a hangover in Vegas.
Pronounce you husbands and wives.
All of this after Homer discovered that Ned has a senior citizen's license. He confronts him in front of everyone, but Ned tells them the truth. He is 60 years old, and after talking about how he looks younger, he tells them the secret is to resist any temptation. Everyone comes to the conclusion he hasn't had any fun in his entire life.
Everyone's living it up except Ned.
Help! We're being carjacked!
So, after trying to be spontaneous and only succeeding in being laughed by his family, he decides to ask Homer for help.
But what about all this meat?
The missus will clean that up.
Now it's Marge's time to shine.
After a tedious paperwork session where Homer will be charging Flanders for everything, Homer takes him to Las Vegas, although Ned can't help being himself, feeling overstimulated by sin everywhere he looks.
The lights, the noise, the letter X. I'm overstimulated. I gotta get out of this town.
Homer takes him to see a daredevil mocking death, jumping on a motorcycle over a spectator, which Homer volunteers since Flanders doesn't want to.
Flanders, don't spill my beer!
Oh God, lay down! Lay down!
After that, Flanders confesses he felt worried, but also wanted to see some blood.
Someone just had his first taste of bloodlust.
Now it's time for Homer to gamble Flanders' money, which is basically a lost bet. They go for some beers instead, and Flanders is feeling conflicted. Thanks to Homer's influence, he comes to the conclusion you only live once and asks for some alcohol, and everything starts spinning for Ned, and we cut to the next day where everything is destroyed, and he doesn't remember anything. Turns out that on this crazy night, the two of them married the waitresses who served them.
I'm Mrs. Homer Simpson.
They are pretty destroyed by the news.
Till death do us part.
I'm working on that.
Ned, no! Think of your wives!
Homer thinks this is a scam, so they show Homer and Ned their wedding video, and it looks pretty realistic and unfaithful.
We are so dead.
Then they invite them to breakfast, and also confess that they have wives and a family, although they don't seem to care.
But Ginger, honey, I am not the catch I appear to be.
Ginger's my wife.
Flanders is pretty disturbed. He is thinking about his children and Maud, his real wife, while Homer is just chilling and doesn't seem to be bothered at all.
Two wives could have its advantages. Chop, chop, dig, dig.
The just come to the conclusion that way to escape this mess in an honourable and decent way is just by running away. They flee all over the casino, they hide and disguise themselves, but they still don't manage to get far. The manager helps the ladies and guards begin to chase them. Thugs, tigers and Mike Tyson surround them, but they slip away to a car. In the end, they get kicked out of Las Vegas and their wives leave them for other men.
But Amber, I can change!
You shut up!
They walk back home, trying to get their story straight for Marge and Maud, in which is a made-up story of aliens gang probing Ned Flanders. Like the time Homer meets a co-worker and ends up falling in love with her, cheating on Marge, and putting his marriage at risk. The story begins with Homer, in one of his pranks, causing one of his co-workers to spill poison gas.
Uh-oh, he's done for.
Yeah, don't worry, the safety glass will protect us.
So now the nuclear plant needs to hire a replacement. When they finally find one, they storm the plant as it violates all labor laws.
Get back to work, Stuart.
They tell him to hire at least one female worker. Lenny and Carl are worried about the woman changing the way they behave in the plant.
A spit on the floor.
And we can't take off our pants when it gets real hot.
And we won't be able to pee in the drinking fountain?
Smithers introduces the new worker, named Mindy Simmons, an attractive redhead who Homer quickly develops feelings for. He is surprised by her beauty and even hallucinates with her naked.
Ain't you never seen a naked chick riding a clam before?
Homer is acting strange, and everyone notices when he is about to leave. Mindy says goodbye to him, and although he feels everything is normal, he continues to daydream and have hallucinations. So, he goes to Moe's tavern, where he wants advice from his friends.
Your infatuation is based on a physical attraction. Talk to the woman, and you'll realize you have nothing in common.
The advice seems pretty insightful, but it was just written in napkin. So, at work, he approaches Mindy to talk to her, where she is eating a glazed donut, and it seems these two are brothers.
Double glaze.
Turns out they have so many things in common, like drinking beer, watching TV, and falling asleep in the bathroom. They have everything in common. Although he tries to stay away from her, no matter how much he ignores her, they end up meeting by coincidences, like taking the elevator.
Going down together. Getting off together.
That's okay. I just pushed the button for the elevator.
In which Homer tries to think unsexy thoughts, but discovers she is doing the exact same.
Unsexy thoughts.
When he gets home, Marge is grossly sick and shows him an image of her that she got printed, although the image doesn't do it a favor. He tries to relax his mind with TV, but the programming he gets encourages breakups, including a seductive "Just Do It" ringworm commercial.
Ooh, just do it.
Howard tries to ask for help, but who's on the other end is Flanders, who tells him they should talk to Marge. Homer faints and sees a ghost of a coronel who shows him the miserable life he'll lead if he marries Mindy. But it turns out he'd be a millionaire and Marge would be president. Lisa discovers Homer singing a song and she figures Homer is attracted to another woman. So lets him know her doubts. This makes Homer willing to say Mindy that they should avoid each other, but because he was nervous, the letters smudge on his hand. While they're watching them talk, Mr. Burns thinks they would be a good fit to send them to an energy convention, and they'll spend 2 nights together in Capital City.
There's your king-size bed for...
Mindy continues to drop a lot of hints to the fat guy, which he tries his best to avoid.
Let's do it. Let's call room service.
Oh.
They order a lot of food, including a chicken, which ends up right under the bed. After the last hot dog, they kiss, which makes Homer feel bad.
It's a sign!
Later, they are announced as the Energy King and Queen, and their prize is a romantic dinner at a Chinese restaurant. Then, he breaks a fortune cookie that says he'll find happiness with a new love, which makes him question if he really can fight fate.
Well, out of these new love cookies?
Well, open up the stick with your wife barrel.
Once in his room, he invites her in, and like a good husband and father, ends up resigning himself to his situation.
You don't have to do anything you don't want to.
Well, maybe I want to.
Although he doesn't want it, Homer and Mindy acknowledge their mutual attraction, but thinking about his family makes him doubt.
I think you'll see what you want.
In the next scene, we see the woman in the red dress is Marge, putting his marriage first instead of sleeping with Mindy. We go to a very crucial time where Marge and Homer are getting a divorce and he starts sleeping with a nurse. Homer manages to fall asleep through a breakdown in the nuclear reactor. He has to be admitted to the hospital. The doctor assures the family that Homer is going to be fine, but Marge is worried that her husband has been falling asleep a little too much. She shows the doctor pictures in which Homer is fast asleep during chaotic situations. The doctor announces that Homer has narcolepsy. Bart is convinced his father is going to die, and he celebrates this news by pulling the plug on Homer as soon as possible.
I'll spare you that painful decision.
No, Bart, that's the TV! Haha, that's the other guy!
The doctor then explains that narcoleptic patients need to avoid stressful triggers. Homer gets an official certificate stating his condition. This can allow him to get out of stressful situations, but this is just too much power in Homer's hands. He uses his condition as an excuse to avoid his children, as if he wasn't already doing that. Marge reminds Homer to get his med and not to abuse his new condition.
Homie, you have no idea what it's like being married to you.
After some time, he finally goes to the pharmacy, but there's already a long line of elderly folk waiting to get their meds. Homer realizes the line isn't going anywhere, and he uses his newfound superpower to sleep through the whole thing. When Homer returns home, Marge suspects that he has been drinking, and she is extremely disappointed.
Every time I have beer on my breath, you assume I've been drinking.
Homer tries to assure Marge that he is going to do better doing their counseling sessions, but Marge is not convinced. The following day, the couple meet with their counselor, but Homer is not taking the session seriously. Marge vents her frustration. She feels trapped in her own marriage, and the counselor decides to be brutally honest.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but this marriage is rotting with the stench of death.
The counselor tells Marge that she needs to divorce Homer to feel happy again, since Homer slept through the entire thing. Marge has had enough. When they return home, Marge forces Homer to pack his bags and move out. Bart and Lisa are worried, and even Homer is upset, but he assures his kids that he will come back, even though Marge is not sure about that.
After all my divorce-worthy statements and actions, many of which you don't know about.
Homer now resides at the nuclear plant. He sleeps in his office and eats his food alone in the cafeteria. His life is completely miserable, but after a while he gets used to the routine. Homer tells his friends that he is sure that Marge is going to come back to him, but he doesn't fully understand the gravity of the situation. Homer decides to call Marge to make sure everything is fine, but she has already changed her last name. Homer is now truly depressed. Moe tries to cheer up Homer, but even his friends know that Homer let go of a great woman.
Most guys never even get a chance to lose an amazing woman like Marge.
At the pharmacy, Homer gets his meds, and the pharmacist, Candace, decides to flirt with him. Homer is not used to other women talking to him, and he clearly fails to see how the pharmacist is just trying to take advantage of his new drug supply.
Well, I don't know what you see in me. I'm just a lonely guy with a bag full of drugs.
One thing leads to another, and they go out partying. Candace actually tells Homer that it's a good thing that he is taking a break from Marge. She believes that Homer never went out with anyone other than Marge, and now he thinks that Marge is the only woman for him.
She was your first girlfriend. I've dated more girls than you.
Candace decides to make things more fun with some sketchy pills, but Homer is just clueless.
You're the pharmacist.
After just one sip, they are having an unforgettable night. Everything is colourful. He then enters Candace's skin to dance with her tattoos. This is one hell of an acid trip, but it quickly devolves into Homer's own insecurities attacking him. After some time, Homer wakes up in bed next to Candace. This is the one mistake Homer has never committed, and now he is done for.
Oh God, I've just committed the one drunken mistake I've never made. Well, Bart.
He tries calling Marge. Unfortunately, one of Marge's cynical sisters picks up the phone. She tells Homer that Marge is getting married. Later on, Homer hangs out with Candace's judgmental, unemployed friends. He even takes her to Moe's bar and shows off his cringy couple tattoo.
Whoa, this is serious.
Homer is also set to meet Candace's father, a meeting he is not looking forward to. The day of the fateful meeting finally arrives, and Homer meets Candace's father, Roger, but he learns that Roger is dating Marge, and all hell breaks loose. The dinner is tense and awkward for everyone involved.
Your Roger's not so perfect now. He's got a screwed up daughter with a pathetic boyfriend.
The dinner gets even more bizarre when Roger asks Marge to marry him in front of her still legal husband. Surprisingly, Marge says yes, and Candace decides to reveal to Homer that she is pregnant.
Already pregnant?
You're pregnant? But I kept my shirt on!
Homer has had enough of this nightmare, and he wakes up from the dream. He finds himself back at the counselor's office with his marriage still barely intact, and decides to put on a real effort. Marge praises Homer for being on his best behaviour, but when Homer hears Maggie singing, he wakes from another dream, and finds himself back in his loveless relationship with Candace. Homer is in shambles because he truly lost the better life. He runs back to his home, where he sees Marge living a good life with Roger. Homer is devastated that he lost the only good things in his life, but in the middle of his breakdown, Lisa comforts her father. She is not willing to forget him so easily, but the minute Roger offers to play chess, she says adios to her father and Homer is left alone, once more. But this time, Marge wakes up from the nightmare and realizes that this was just one long dream that she was having. Whether you consider a couple kisses cheating or not, this wasn't the last time Homer falls for temptation. This next time with a beautiful blonde country singer. It all starts with Homer being of those insufferable people who likes to talk in the movie theater and ruin the experience for others. Marge decides to blow off her anger on him, and this makes Homer to drive off on his own. Homer's hurt feelings take him all the way to some redneck bar.
Service will stop for just a few moments
where he hears a hot blondie waitress called Lurleen debut her song. For some reason, the lyrics of the song make Homer feel understood, and after leaving the bar, he just cannot get the song out of his head. So he decides to go back to Lurleen and let her know just how much he loved her song. Homer wants Lurleen to record the song on a CD, just for him. But while Lurleen is recording the track, someone offers to play the song on the radio. And soon, Lurleen's touching words are a source of comfort for countless lonely men.
Work all day for some old man, sweat and break your
when Homer talks about her with his family. I don't know why, but Marge doesn't vibe with the idea of her husband to spend time with a hot country waitress.
All I did was spend the afternoon in her trailer watching her try on some outfits.
Homer meets with Lurleen again, and she wants him to be her music manager. Marge is almost about to have an aneurysm, but she decides to accompany Homer as he manages Lurleen. It is clear that two women in Homer's life are definitely blind and willing to compete for Homer. Marge sits through the recording session, but she is not enjoying it at all. Lurleen continues to grow in popularity. And one day, Homer informs his country singer that she has a spot on TV.
Homer, you're as smart as you are handsome.
Hey! Oh, you meant that as a compliment.
Lurleen takes the moment to let Homer know that she wants to do unholy things with him with a song. And although his slow brain has a hard time understanding the hint, when he gets it, he gets scared and leaves. Later, Homer goes off to the studio to support Lurleen. And after her stellar performance, Lurleen pushes herself onto Homer, letting her know she wants to go all the way. Homer may be dense, but he is still faithful. And he decides to sell off Lurleen to another music manager.
I'll give you $50.
You son of a... Sold.
Let's quickly mention this one time where Homer crossed some lines right in front of Marge, which basically send them to a couples therapy once again. And that's when the Simpsons were having a small party, and Homer was already drunk pretty early.
Hey, everybody! Look! I'm the funniest guy in the world!
The night ends with Homer quitting his job, mistaking a man for Mr. Burns, staring at the two big reasons of Ned Flanders' wife, and passing out in the living room.
The ones at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Another time, the balding ape cheated on Marge was when Marge and the kids are on a seaside vacation and Homer is tempted by a British. When Lily, a beautiful English woman, was exiled for being too exciting and hot for the average England person, which the bar is pretty low, she had decided to begin a new life in Springfield.
So she headed to Springfield, little knowing that its men had the lowest testosterone.
She enters Moe's Tavern to light up the mood of the depressing sight. Marge is going to her aunt's summer house for 3 weeks rent-free with the only condition of not taking Homer with them. So feeling sad, he goes to Moe's Tavern, missing his family, is largely indifferent to Lily, which only makes her want him more.
If you're done singing, can we turn up the game?
Elsewhere, Mr. Burns is spying on Lily and decides that he must have her. He commands Homer to lure Lily into meeting him on his boat, to which Homer agrees.
I'll make my eyes look at something else.
However, to surprise of absolutely no one, a date with Mr. Burns turns out to be one of the most traumatic experiences a human being can ever go through.
Why did you bring me here?
Fear of unemployment.
When Lily runs away from the date, Homer begins to feel bad and consoles her, but this only wakens more feeling for him. Homer gets each time more nervous, but as a gentleman, he drives her home.
You're the most anything of any woman I've ever known except for my wife, who I loved. I mean loved. I said love.
She moved by the awful compliment and forces him to give her a proper goodbye, which ends up being a Disney magical kiss. Later, Marge comes home early because of the failure of her vacation, and Homer gets a call from an unknown phone number, which turns out to be Lily.
See you now, Homer. You know the address. Lover's Lane.
Lily continues to lure the fat man into walking to her home with her British singing, but good thing that Marge's awful singing disrupts him into taking his infidelity further. Homer decides that he only wants to be with Marge. Lily decides that there is nothing left for her in Springfield, and she returns to England. Back in England, Lily turns down the advances of the pub goers until she meets a British Homer with an ugly moustache. As we just saw, it was really hard for Homer to stay faithful to Marge, but what's not really difficult is for you to leave a like. Watch this video next that I'm sure you're going to enjoy, and thanks for watching.